So hi and welcome to my review videos. This time I'm doing the 8.10 overview and the STB-1 review. Now the 8.10 overview, there are a lot of Japanese tanks added. Actually this patch is only Japanese tank, but there was only one branch. As you can see for the tech tree we have from the Renault to the STB. Now I have chosen one line, so the other line I haven't done yet. And I don't think I'm going to do them either, but because it's very difficult, I nearly have to wait like 5 minutes to get into a game with these low tiers. But I played them all at least one time, and so what I will do is I go through all these kinds of tanks, beginning with the Renault. This is just another modifications like the Chinese, and no, the Japanese also have a Renault. No, this Renault is actually pretty good. In my opinion, it's the best Renault of all three because this gun is absolutely great. I mean, it has a 37mm, but look at the penetration. The penetration is 32, and the average damage is 45. No, I have a 100% crew. Let's be honest. Let's be honest with that, but this is a very good gun. I mean, you will absolutely wreck other tier 1s. I mean, in my opinion, it's even better than a LOL tractor because it's so good. Plus the armor on this thing is 30mm. Now this may seem not a lot, but comparing it to other tier 1s, that's very good armor. 30mm, I have received a lot of bonuses. No, and on the next one we have the Shinin. No, personally I don't like this tank. You have, instead of the 37mm, you can still mount a 37mm, but you also can mount a 5.7. Now the only what I don't like about this is that this gun doesn't have any accuracy at all. I mean, the 37 had a little bit of accuracy. And the aiming time is also high. I mean, okay, 2.1 seconds, but I do notice it though. And the penetration is lower, rate of fire is lower. So I like the 37mm more than the 5.7 centimeters. Now, as the next one, I'm just going to get a quick overview of these tanks. I later go in depth to the tier 9 and also that new added Russian tanks, what I'm going to talk about later also. Now, the Shiha is one of my favorite tanks. I mean, the Chinese one. I mean, the Chinese also have a Shiha. The Shiha is basically just a bot tank from Japan to China. So the Shiha is actually a Japanese tank, not a Chinese tank for. But this tank, this tank is just absolutely great. I mean, the reason why I like this tank the most is because of its penetration. Is 80mm of penetration for tier 3. It has a high damage. I mean, it is 70 damage per minute, and it shoots very fast. It shoots every 3 seconds. It has a high penetration and a high damage. No, all these combined are very good. The aiming time is 2.3 seconds and the accuracy is 0.44. Now 0.44 for tier 3 is pretty good though. I mean, the main reason why I like the Shiha so much in the past, because it has a good gun. I mean, you can 1 versus 1, you're going to win versus every single tank except maybe the Martyrs, a couple of tank destroyers, but mostly you will win in a 1 versus 1. Now, I must say that from tier 1 to tier, let's just say from tier 1 to tier 6 they're pretty slow. From tier 1 to tier 4 they're very slow. I mean, the Renault doesn't move at all. The Shini moves a little bit. I mean, it has a speed limit of 30, but for a medium tank it's not that good. This one has a 40, but it's like the AMX 40. You're never going to hit that maximum speed. This one also has a 44, but you will never reach that maximum speed. I mean, it's always impossible. Then we have the second Shiha. The second Shiha is, well, I don't think it's actually very good because they have a nerf of penetration. It's more damage. It kind of plays the same as the 75mm from the entry Lee, but I just don't like this gun. I mean, it's better. I just don't like this tank at all overall. I mean, plus all these tanks, by the way, do not have any armor at all except the tier 1. Then we have the tier 5. Now this tank is actually quite fun. It's kind of the same as the BRB from the French, only with a little bit less damage. I mean, a lot less damage. It kinda plays the same as a heavy tank. I mean, it has a higher rate of fire, okay. It has a good penetration, a very good penetration for tier 5, and that's with all these guns. They have a very good penetration, except at tier 4 there. Um, the average damage is pretty low though. I mean, from such a big tank you expect to have a little bit of damage. The accuracy though is very good and the aiming time also. No, this tank is pretty slow though. I mean, it has a 40 speed limit and it is pretty maneuverable. All of these tanks are pretty maneuverable, but you actually have, but it takes ages to get to that speed. I mean, I rolled from a hill in a game and I felt so much maneuverability and could do so many things, but I stopped, took a shot, and I went back moving, and I just couldn't move because I was too slow, and that actually got me killed because I thought these tanks were pretty maneuverable. It looks like they don't. They are maneuverable, but don't ever try to stop because it takes ages to get to your max speed. Then at tier 6 we have basically just the same tank but with a little bit more armor. 75mm is pretty good though for a Japanese tank, and you actually can choose between, oh no, oops, never mind to that. You have this gun, but it's not really a big upgrade. I mean, it has more damage, okay, it has a little bit more penetration, a little bit more accuracy, but yeah, I think you basically have a tier 6 because you have more armor. I mean, a tier 6 75mm can sometimes bounce some shots though. Maneuverability on this tank is horrible also. It is very maneuverable, but you have to wait a long time before you go to that speed. No, this tank is pretty interesting. Although it's a medium tank, I mean, this is one of the biggest medium tanks in the game. Now, doesn't it remind you of the AMX 50, the AMX 1945 tier 7? Kinda reminds me of it. No, this tank is very big. I mean, this is a medium tank. I don't see it as a medium tank. No, take for instance a look at the, well, the E50M is a very big tank, so let's take a look at the E50M. It's actually bigger than the E50M. Let's take up, what's a very big medium tank also. Well, I do not have that much medium tanks. Well, never mind to that. But like for instance, I know that T-34-1 is a very small medium tank. So let's take a look at that new Japanese tank there. There we go. Whoa. I think the T-34-1 can fit 3 times into that tank. It has 75mm of armor, but it's non-sloped, so don't expect any bonuses. I mean, even if you hit the armor, this is a weak spot, this is a weak spot, this is a weak spot, this is a weak spot. Don't expect you to bounce though. Plus it's all non-slope, so it will not do a lot. No, this tank is pretty interesting because it has an autoloader and it has a pretty good autoloader. It has 3 shells in the magazine. It only has to reload 1 second and has a very high aiming time. Now this is the kind of things what I want to see on my autoloader. A high aiming time and a high rate of fire between shells. 1 second and 1.7 seconds aiming time. Now this is pretty good though because you can blast out like 450 damage in just 4.5 seconds. But you actually have to hit them all because the average damage is not that good. It's only 130 for tier 7. You have to know that some of the cannons in tier 7 can almost do 400 damage, so that's not good at all. The average penetration though is it's okay for tier 7. The accuracy is high and the aiming time is high. No, if you really want to have this cannon to the max, you really have to hit every single shot. Plus what I do like about this tank is that you reload every 10 seconds. Now 10 seconds is one of the least times, one of the smallest times, I don't know how to say it in English, but one of the lowest times where you have to reload between shells. I mean, if you ever played the AMX 5100, it's 50 seconds to reload a magazine. It's only 10 here. No, the next tank, by the way, it's very maneuverable also. No, from here it kinda reminds me of the German second medium line. The line that leads to the Leopard 1 or the Leopard 1. It kind of reminds me of the Indian Panzer, not on the topic of armor, because the armor was pretty bad. It only has 45 millimeters in the front, and it has 70 millimeters of turret armor. Now every single tank will penetrate your turret with this. Plus weak spots, again, weak spot here, weak spot there. A big, one of the biggest cupolas I've ever seen. This big cupola here. It has a not that good gun though. It has a 90 millimeters, but the gun kind of reminds me of the I don't what's the Carnarvon of the Carnarvon of how it's called. It's tier 8 heavy tank of the British. It has an 8 rounds rate of fire. It's pretty low though for the average damage. I mean the DPM, all the DPM actually on the medium tank, on the Japanese tank from tier 5 are pretty bad. Accuracy is, of course, is good. The Japanese tanks have all very good accuracy from tier 5. No, 2.3 seconds aiming time is very good also. I mean, they all have fast aiming time. That's the kind of things that I want to see on medium tanks. If you ever saw one of my previous videos. Now the average penetration is 220, which is pretty good for tier 8. It is very good for tier 8 medium, and it has a 275 millimeters of penetration with gold shells. Now the only thing what disappoints me is the amount of rate of fire and the amount of damage what you get. You have to reload 8 seconds to shoot another shell, and it's kinda for the amount of damage what you do is pretty low. Plus this tank again is big as hell, so every single one can hit you. Now as a runner-up we have the tier 9. Now the tier 9 is not that good either. I basically don't like the Japanese 3, basically because they say that it has good maneuverability. Indeed it has very good maneuverability, but you actually have to hit that maximum speed. It takes ages. From tier 2 to tier 9 it takes ages to get to that maximum speed, and the guns are not that awesome either. I mean, they have high penetration, they have good aiming time, but the amount of damage what they do and the DPM of the guns is not that good in my opinion. Now this tank of course has a tier 10 gun. Know that this 105mm is pretty interesting. It has 390 average damage. Now most of the times it's below the 390, most of the times it's around 350. Sometimes I even hit at 290. The average penetration is very high, 260. 330 with gold shells. The rate of fire is pretty bad though. It shoots every 10 seconds. And for medium tank, again I'm going to complain about it, but for medium tank you need the DPM. And like every Japanese tank in this branch doesn't have the DPM, the damage per minute, by the way, for the guys who don't know what DPM means. It has a good gun, it has good penetration, it has good damage finally, but the rate of fire kills you over and over again. This cannon, by the way, is a very lookalike to the German 105mm. Now we're going to take the Leopard prototype. So basically the difference between this is that the Leopard or the Leopard prototype actually has a better gun. I mean, the rate of fire of course is worse, but it's worse indeed. I don't like it, but you have a better penetration, and that's basically it. But this cannon is actually better than a Leopard, but nah, it isn't really that good in my opinion. Plus on area of maneuverability it's pretty good. Yeah, finally we have a good maneuverable tank. I mean, it has a 604 horsepower and a 38 ton tank, or 35 tons from now. But that's basically it of the tier 9. The tier 9 is not that good in my opinion. I mean, they're all not good, but the tier 10 is a chew. I mean, this tank is absolutely great. It has all. It's basically the same as the Leopard. It plays the same as the Leopard. You have to use your speed and maneuverability to your advantage, and you can still do some damage though. And this tank is actually has a very strong turret. from stats it says that it only has around 110 millimeters of turret armor. Now that 110 millimeters, they even draw a line of it, that 110 millimeters is above and right and to the left of this line. Now this portion around the gun is 240 millimeters of penetration. Plus they got rid of the weak spots. I mean, you have a weak spot here, okay, you have a weak spot here, but nearly every single tank has their weak spots. So this tank will bounce a lot, and look at the sloping of this tank. It has 132 millimeters of frontal armor, very sloped at a very steep angle. I bounced a lot of shells with this sloping. Also with this sloping though, I'm surprised that I actually bounced some shells on the tier 9, even from tier 10 guns. But it has maneuverability, it has a lot of maneuverability. It has a 740 engine power, it has a 43 speed limit. You know what I'm going to do? There are a lot of people in EVO Wargaming sets that it looks a lot like the Germans, so I'm going to get the Germans up. There we have the Germans, and as you can see the Leopard 1 is a little bit heavier, but it also has a better engine. The Leopard 1 actually has better maneuverability though. The Leopard 1 indeed has better maneuverability, but the STB has armor. It just misses that portion of the Leopard 1. It basically plays the same, but it exchanges the speed and maneuverability for the armor. The guns are basically the same, they're not that much difference. I mean, this one has a better rate of fire, the Leopard one has a worse rate of fire, but they are basically the same. The gun reverse speed is actually better on this tank, but again the maneuverability is less on this tank, so it's 50-50 tank. The hit points are the same, the engine power is worse, the speed limit is worse, traverse speed is worse. Well, for a medium tank you never go over 50 kilometers an hour. I mean, nearly every single medium tank except the French ones and Germans have a higher speed limit than 50. The hull armor is very good. It has 110 millimeters of sloped armor, 132 millimeters of turret armor, 130 millimeters of side turret armor, but it's only good in the front. From the sides of the STB you only have 35 millimeters, and even if an HE shell or a heat shell penetrates you, or hash shells, I think it's hash shell called, yes, hash shells, if a hash shell penetrates you, you are going to be wrecked. Standard shell damage is the same, and standard penetration is a little bit worse, but still kinda good, and the rate of fire is better. So you can say that it doesn't really differ that much. Now the last we're going to talk, well, we already talked about the gun. The turret also, it has a 410mm view range, was pretty high though, and it has a very high traverse. The engine 740 horsepower with a very low chance of impact. 52 degrees per second tracks. Now this is pretty high. I mean, let's take up the T62A. The T62A has a very good maneuverability. So remember what the degrees were on the STB. So it was 52 degrees, and here it's 56. So it really doesn't matter that much from the T62A. It takes ages to scroll through these tanks. Okay. And of course it has a tier 10 radio. What I recommend for you to use is the vertical stabilizer, because you have a plus 20% extra. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say this. Japanese tanks, they are very accurate. They will hit every single target that you want to shoot, but you have to be fully aimed. If you're not fully aimed or you're firing on the move, it's the first thing what I notice about the Japanese tank. They have very good maneuverability, almost all of them. I mean, the Renault here has one of the best gun depressions of the game. This tank, although it looks like it doesn't have good gun depression, it has a very good gun depression. That's the thing. I mean, the Japanese got influenced by the Americans, and as you can know, the Americans have very good gun depression. Now the Chinese, for instance, were influenced by the Russians, and the Russians didn't have good gun depression, so the Chinese also And because from an Asian tank, all of what's coming from the eastern part of the world, I always think like, well, it's going to have shit gun depression, but the Japanese tanks actually surprised me. Also that you have to be fully aimed till you can hit your target, but you will hit your target if you're fully aimed. You will poorly miss it. Now, as the following up, you may go for plus 10% to aiming speed, it's your choice, but I don't really think it's worth it. 2 box is a good thing maybe also. No, the medium caliber tank gun rammer is pretty good, because it has a minus 10% to load time. And a minus 10% to load time, you have to reload every 7.5 seconds, and after that you only have to do a 6.5 seconds. So that's nearly a whole second spared. Now that whole second spared is going to make the difference between fun and that. For the rest, I recommend for you an improved ventilation class, of course, because you improve a little bit of every single crew skill. Now for the crew skills itself, I'll go with repairs also, because repairs is a must-have. Borders and arms is one, you must have this skill. I don't have it because of the test server. I mean, I only play like say 6 hours on this test server and then I abandon it. So Borders and arms is a must-have. You must have this skill at least as your second skill. Sixth sense, of course, is always one of the first things I research. Again, mentor is maybe a good thing also, because you increase the additional experience to all crew members. For the radio operator, he's also a radio operator, by the way. Extended view range maybe, because this thing is a pretty good scout also. I mean, what you're going to see from the gameplay is I use it as a scout also. Now for the gunner, I recommend for you to use Deadeye, because it has well, first skill what you want to have is snapshot, because you have a higher accuracy during turret rotations. That's the kind of things what you want to have on a medium tank. You want to have that extra accuracy during turret rotations. Now Deadeye is a good thing also, because you have a higher chance on critical strikes. Now for the driver, I'll go with clutch braking as first, because you need extra maneuverability. Smooth rider is a good thing also, because you have a higher accuracy with firing on the move. Then off-road driving, of course, because of course you have a higher maneuverability on rough terrain, like for instance a swamp or something like that. Now for the loader, I don't really recommend to use anything of this. Maybe Admiral Rush, but I'll go with the common ones on the loader itself. Now also they have added a new map. I don't have gameplay with this tank on the new map, but for me the new map is a pretty bad map though. Overall, the map it's kinda campy. It's kinda same as Abbey, but without the Abbey in the middle of the map. So that's what I got from it. They also have added a new tier 10 Russian tank. What I'm going to take a look later on is the Object 430. No, this tank will be bouncy as hell. I mean, look at it. It has so much sloping, and it has a 120 millimeters of hull armor. You remember the T-54, where you got so many miracle bounces? Well, now you have this tank. And they have also added the Object 430. It's basically the same as its predecessor, just with a small with a little update. So that's around it in the garage, and I'll see you in the gameplay. Okay, so welcome back to the battle. This is the STB in battle. Now, unfortunately, I have to record it by myself and not in theater mode, so you have to look at everything, even the camping. I've played around 4 battles in this tank, and I won all 4 of them. Now, this tank is absolutely a gift from the devil. I mean, this is a good tank. I mean, It's kind of the same as the French one. I mean, I hated the French, but once if you hit that tier 10, oh, that AMX-50B is absolutely a beast on the battlefield. No, the STB is kind of the same. I mean, you had to go to that slow rate of fire. You have to go to. I mean, you have to go through that slow rate of fire, low that low damage, and that's horrible maneuverability, although it's good maneuverability. In my opinion, it's bad maneuverability. But this tank is just the opposite. It has a good gun, it has a very good gun. I mean, the 10.5 centimeter gun is an absolutely great gun. It has good maneuverability, it has quite good armor though. I mean, sometimes it will bounce, not all the time. But during this game really shows you how to play this tank. Well, first of all, it has good accuracy. So what I did is I went up in the hill. Maybe there are some tanks that are crossing, but what already got spotted is some free damage. Always what you get. Now, the first minute of this gameplay is a pretty derp moment because I have done a really stupid thing here. No, first I was scanning this area. No, I have a pretty good tactic though on this map, on the village. First you want to see that there are not many people rushing there. If there are not, see, this is the dirt moment. Should have aimed a little bit to the left. And therefore I missed the E5 also. So I could have done a little bit more damage during this gameplay, thanks to that. But this is one of my favorite tactics, and not many people will do this. I'm actually surprised that if you, well, you must hope that there are not too many TTs waiting for you there up ahead. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. It doesn't. But you just have to drive a little bit forward, and then you can shoot at everyone's asses. So what's the problem about it? No, this is pretty dangerous though, this technique. I don't know how I missed that ice for. I got a lot of miracle, for some reason, miracle hits. I mean, you will see it later on also. So I got a hit here, and he moved up, so I couldn't shoot him anymore. And then I thought like, let's go for that E5. I don't know how I missed this guy either. I mean, I have, and then my team took the kill, and there's that moss. And the moss is already so low in HP. And do notice that I don't use any cold shells during this gameplay, because I want to show you guys how it feels with normal shells. And there we go, I finished him off. And then I went for a sneaky kill steal on the dice 4 there. This was pretty dangerous though, and I almost hit that other guy. But the accuracy of this gun is good enough. And I stole the kill there. Ice 4 is mine. And now you see the maneuverability. Basically my team was still setting it up to how do you say it, to attack their base. I mean, they still have 2 big TDs remaining, so those tank destroyers can do a lot of damage. I mean, the WoT there and the FE 183 boats can do over 2000 damage if they are loaded special ammunition, so I have to watch out for them. But I'm using this the low height of this tank to hide between behind that slope there. And I thought like maybe they're going to cap our base, so I thought like, well, this tank has pretty good maneuverability, so why not go back? And suddenly I found the FE. Now the problem is that the FE has a better DPM than me. I mean, that's the main problem with, except with the tier 3 you will not win a lot of 1 versus 1 fights because of the low armor and the horrible damage per minute. No, I knew that I was going to lose this, so I thought like, well, let's get the fuck out of here. I'm going to take 1 more shot, bounce them, of course. And I just went Wait, no, I suddenly saw that object. I don't know what it is. It's some kind of object. I think it's the object 130. I saw him in distance, and what my thoughts are was going to take out that object 130, and then came from behind him, and then tried to shoot him also. It's kind of failed, and this is a very good example of what this tank can do. And I finished him off here. And my team finished off the FV also, so that's the end of the game. But this was a very good game. I have a 1100 hours experience in this tank, but I only played like 4 games, so. And there we have the end stats. So 1662 experience at 60,000 credits. I'm the highest of the whole team. And there's the detailed report. So that's the end of this gameplay, and I'll see you in the next one. So as the runner-up we have another STB video. This one on... I always forgot the name, I think it's Popovka, something like that, or Malanovka. But what I'm doing here is that I went to the hill there, and basically what I would just want to show you during this gameplay is how this tank feels in maneuverability. But also what I want to tell is, it's a little bit off topic, but I have uploaded a Typhoon MK1B review of War Thunder, and it only took about 10 minutes of video. No, what I did there is that I gave it a point system, so that means that like 10 points or speed and maneuverability, 10 points on guns, 10 points on energy. So my question to you guys is that, do you want to see the same thing in my World of Tanks reviews, or do you like the more in-depth reviews, like really talk around 40 minutes about one tank like this gameplay? So leave it in the comments. I'll put the link to the Typhoon MK1B review in the description also. Now do notice that I worked around 4 hours. I added around 4 hours and recorded for about 6 hours to make a video of only like 10 minutes, but the product of it is really nice. I mean, I have a very nice intro, and it's also very relaxing to watch it. But the problem with it is that I won't be uploading so many videos then, because well, basically I haven't uploaded a lot of videos either in the past month, because exams were coming, I had to study. But now it's back okay, the exams are over. So I would appreciate it if you looked at the video and told me what you think about what is better, the point system or the in-depth review. No, the in-depth review is personally easier to make. I only have to edit like 20 to 30 minutes on it, so it's not a problem. It takes a pretty long time to render though, but mostly I render during that I'm eating or something like that. No, the problem with this game, back to the game itself, the problem with this game is that I didn't really had anyone to shoot at. No, there was some guy who had Leroyed into the enemies, and it actually wasn't a bad strategy at all, because basically we won the hill therefore. So there we have that guy. I think it's an object 130, can't really see it from this view, from this point of view, but you can normally. So and another one also appears, and I decided to go into them also. I mean, why not help him? There we go, we finished him off there, another one there. He will be finished off soon also. So I took another shot at him, and they finished him off. Basically it's a game for who's the first one to kill him from here. And then I suddenly spotted a scumbag who was hiding there behind the bush. I shot him, and then my team finished him off also. No, the problem was here that now you're going to see another
perturbed moment of me, that there was a Tiger 2 up ahead, and I thought that I had team around me, but looks like still, well, the guys that you see in front of me will be destroyed soon. But I thought my team was following, it looks like they still were on that hill. And just when I went to shoot the Tiger 2, they finished them off, and then suddenly had a problem in front of me and to the right of me. No, they bounced the first shot, and I decided to repair my tracks here because I have to go away, because otherwise I'm dead. So ran into the water here, and for some reason the badger didn't show any up anymore. Maybe yes, I don't know why he didn't shoot me. He could have killed me easily. And now the hunt is on for the last 3 tanks. They probably will be camping there on the roadside. I wish I could speed it up. But if I have to make a video, like for instance like my Typhoon MK1B review, it's going to be a nice intro and just parts of the game, not the whole gameplay. So they decided to load up premium shells because they have pretty high armor there. I mean, even though, as many of you know, I'm strongly against gold shells, it's just a test server, and I already showed you in the first gameplay how it feels without gold shells. And we will be approaching them soon also, and basically what I'm doing here is try to be a scout. And there we spotted them. There's the E100 and the ICU, but I don't really have a shot at them. I see red appearing everywhere, but I don't have a shot at them. So missed my first shot, and there was the E100, finished him off. And the game was won by here. The E4 will be finished, the ICU will be finished soon also. So there we go, that's the end of the gameplay. The stats what I got from this gameplay is around 1070 experience. But my whole team did good. Not the only one who has above 1000 experience. So that's it about the first gameplay. I'll see you in the garage who has a little bit more talk.
Okay, so I hope you liked the video. Leave a comment what you think about the Typhoon MK1B review, and maybe pass it on to World of Tanks also. Now what I'm going to do, probably Wednesday or something like that, is review that Object 430 and do a video about it. So get subscribed for that, and I'll end this video. So demo creation rules, and you can choose a tank for my garage. What do you want to see review next? Place it in the comments below, and also try to check out my channel so you know what tanks I've already reviewed. Next week I'm going to do, well, first at Object 430, and then finally, after so many times, I'm going to do that T-34-1 review there, what I was talking about so long. So that's it. Japanese overall, they have very good guns, they have high IQ guns, they have a high aiming time, they have a low rate of fire, they have a low damage, they have average maneuverability, they have good maneuverability, but it takes a long time to get to that speed, and that's about it. And they have very good penetration for their guns, so armor is garbage. So that's it, and I will see you next time.